it's time for stock picks, and today we're placing our bets on the gaming and hotel industry with Sun International, Tsogo Sun Gaming, and SGHC Limited. Joining us to share his insights is Eswee Bothma from Oystercatcher Investments. Eswee, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. As mentioned, we are in the gaming industry today. And let's start with an overview of why you like the industry and I guess the kind of growth trajectory that we could possibly see out of it.
Yes, so the three stocks we're discussing today have exposure, I guess, to varying degrees and to varying extents to this massive boom in online digital gaming. It's a massive market, about 15 billion in GGR, according to research by SPG, but I've seen various versions of that number. And that really is a market that's just set to grow, continue growing from here. Consumers are sort of trying to supplement their income by gambling trying to dabble in online gambling. Whether that's a good thing or not, I guess it's the jury's still out. But it is certainly driving the top line of this market massively.
And let's start with your first pick, then out with results today, Sun International, and that growth that we are seeing in the online industry also playing out in those results, with Sunbet reporting stellar numbers. I think the top line was up above 70%. Your analysis on that counter as we get started.
Yeah, so Sun International reporting pretty mixed results, I'd say. As you mentioned, Sunbet really stellar performance there, 70% growth in top line, margins, EBITDA margins in excess of 34%, really impressive. And that business really is, it's not quite up to the scale of the likes of Hollywood Bets or Betway yet, only 3% market share, but it really has the sort of mechanics to compete with those guys. A really impressive interface, in my opinion, probably up there, if not better, than those two big names. And as you might know, they've recently got a new CEO, who has a massive, has got lots of experience in online gambling. Previous CEO of William Hill, we oversaw their transition from a sort of retail traditional bookmaker into a real online powerhouse, and I don't think that's quite a coincidence, or just a coincidence that they are replacing or sort of getting this expertise in, just as online gambling is taking off, and as I just mentioned, the sort of land-based casinos really come under pressure.
And also that business quite diversified, as yes, it has the land casinos, it also has hotels and resorts. Do you like the diversification when it comes to the business? We're also starting to see a rebound when it comes to tourism, whether it is business travel, whether it is personal travel. I mean, considering also we have the G20 coming up, and I'm sure their hotels have been, one of the top picks when it comes to people traveling into the country and looking for a hotel to live in.
Yeah, correct. So Sun International really has four main properties, three at the moment, with the Table Bay lease expiring. However, they will resume management of that property from next year on again. So the remaining three would then be Sun City, which is really the bulk of that, and has performed quite well. Daily rates up solidly, occupancies up solidly. The Maslow, which has performed sort of adequately, as you mentioned, buoyed by business travel. And then the final property that's sort of come under a bit of pressure, Wild Coast Sun. So we do like the diversification in there. It's not sort of the highest quality hospitality portfolio out there, but definitely solid enough to supplement what they've got in terms of resorts, land-based casinos, Sun Slots, and then Sunbet. And what they're looking to do with those properties is really drive an omni-channel strategy where each portion of the portfolios can supplement the others. And Sun City definitely ticks that box, especially.
All right, let's move over to your next pick, that being Tsogo Sun Gaming. This one purely a gaming play after the unbundling in 2019, where the hotels bit became Southern Sun and gaming, of course, being Tsogo Sun. Just your analysis of the business as a standalone gaming play.
Yeah, so the Tsogo Sun is of my three sort of top stock to discuss today. I'd say probably the one I've got the least conviction in.
Okay.
Wouldn't say that's a pounding the table buy. It certainly is cheap, but you have to question whether it's cheap for a reason. As we mentioned earlier with Sun International, the land-based casinos are really under pressure, and for Tsogo, that's about 85% of their exposure. They've got some really good assets. Monte Casino really is a solid asset, but then they've got a very long tail of underperforming casinos, where those top lines are going backward at quite an aggressive rate. Then they've got the LPM business, which has sort of performed okayish, similar to what we saw with Sun International, their Sun Slots LPM business, sort of maintaining top line, maybe eking out 1 or 2%, but margins certainly coming under pressure there. And then the balance of the Tsogo Sun portfolio really there isn't much to get excited about. There's bingo, electronic bingo terminals, EBTs, and then they've got a small online platform as well, or two, Play Tsogo and Bet.Koza, but they were honestly very late to the game there, and in online gambling, this really is a scale game, and it really is doubtful that they will be able to get the scale required in order to make their online offering succeed.
And the group is also struggling with regulation. I mean, just a few months ago, it mentioned that it's trying to expand in the Western Cape, but not really being given the green light there. Talk to me about that and how it's weighing on its ability to gain more market share. I mean, you've already mentioned that. I guess it's right at, or rather, it's behind when it comes to catching up in the online gaming space. So I guess their bet is really on the land-based casinos at the moment.
Yeah, so there's Somerset Casino expansion plan. I've got my doubts about that as well. It's a 3.5 billion ticket number that they've been throwing around in order to get that up and running. As you mentioned, they are facing some regulatory headwinds in that regard. But honestly, I don't think the market would be too upset if they weren't able to go ahead with that. Land-based casinos are a declining business on a long enough time frame. I think online eats everything.
Yeah.
And for them at this point in 2025 to be investing in more land-based assets, it's a questionable strategy. One would have to think that cash is better suited to just be returned to shareholders in the form of special dividends, perhaps buybacks, or maybe even investing, if they do want to invest in their higher end, better performing assets like Monte, and not chase this sort of dream that they've got in Somerset West.
And your last pick is SGC, the owner, SGHC, that is the owner of Betway. And I guess this is your favorite of the three, hey?
It's certainly exciting.
Yeah.
Strong growth prospects. Lots of it's got great global exposure, even though it's run by a South African management team. You're getting the growth, but you're certainly paying up for it as well. Yeah, so its major assets there are Betway, which South Africans would know all too well, and then Spin. So Betway is sort of their growth engine. They are venturing strongly with Betway into African markets. SA is 33% of Betway, and Africa more than 60, maybe 65%. So that's a big focus area for Betway. And then Spin is their sort of online casino offering, which is more of a mature asset, not as exciting growth prospects, but certainly very solid. And one could even perhaps go as far as calling it an annuity income stream. There, the exposure is more tilted towards mature markets, with especially focused on North America and Canada, where it has some growth prospects. It still has a couple of provinces that it hasn't entered into yet, but we've certainly seen growth slowing in those areas that have been well penetrated.
And quickly before I let you go, I can imagine that the group has had to navigate tough regulatory environments and across the globe, considering that it operates in many countries and nations. How has it been faring on that end?
This is really top of mind. When regulation gets too onerous, they will completely just exit the market. They recently exited Germany on account of what they call too burdensome regulation. They've exited the US. That's a sort of a competitive thing as well as a regulatory clarity thing. And then a couple of years ago, India was a very big market of theirs, especially in Betway. But after a very burdensome tax change where essentially customer deposits were being taxed at 28%, they decided to exit the Indian market as well. So they won't fight regulation beyond a certain point. They'll exit if it becomes unfavorable.
All right, let's leave it there. Eswee, thank you so much for your time and just taking us through your favorite picks in the gaming industry. Now that was Eswee Bothma from Oystercatcher Investments.